Hello, everyone. Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. Today is May 5th. That's 5/5, 2021, which is also a 5 vibration. So this is a little late. This is the Numerology and Kabbalah of May. But I've been straight out so far this May. So this is the first opportunity I've had to share this information with you. And it's quite the load of information. So let's get started here. Alrighty. So I'm sharing my screen with you guys. And nope, there we go. And we're going to start the shows. Let's start the show. Remember that? We have a really good shoe today. Only the old people will know what I'm talking about. All right, so the Astrology Kabbalah of May. Now, generally, what I've been doing is doing the Astrology Kabbalah, the Numerology, the Tree of Life work all at once, and it's this big hour-long thing. And then I do weekly things. I'm changing it up a bit this month. I'm going to do, I've already done the week ahead to the 8th, and I'm going to get the next week ahead out a little earlier, I think. And I'm going to go week by week, I think. But of course, if there's something that's worth like really mentioning, like some of the things I'm going to mention today that I haven't quite covered yet in the week ahead, we'll talk about that at this time. So Astrology Kabbalah of May. So the Numerology of May. So we have a monthly vibration of 5, right? 5 is the month, is the 5th. May is the 5th month. We also have a universal year vibration of 5. So this is a double 5 year, month and year. And 5 is the number of freedom and change. It is associated with the Hierophant card in the tarot. We can see that. I have the Hierophant card right next to it. It is also associated with the sign of Taurus. Now, of course, we know in May, the sun spends the majority of the month in Taurus. We also have starting the month with Mercury in Taurus and Venus in Taurus, but they quickly shift into Gemini. This week, actually, they both shift to this week into Gemini. But we have to remember that at the end of last month, on the 30th, we had the sun conjunct Uranus in Taurus. And so that pretty much gives us sort of the like the drum roll, right, for the next month. And this is going to be a month of change, opportunities for freedom. Of course, freedom depends on your ability to master the 4 vibration. If you want to master the 5 vibration, you have to master the 4 vibration. So you have to have something to build upon, You have to be good in crisis, which is a 4 vibration. You need to have something to stand on to change, because we can just change from one thing to another and never really quite evolve through that energy. True freedom comes and 100% freedom comes when you take 100% of the responsibility of your life in your own hands. And that doesn't mean that you can't be in situations that don't seem like you can be in a situation that feels like you're not in control of the situation. But what you're always in control of is how you react and respond to that situation. And our ability to react and respond to a situation deals with the moon, right? And the nodes of the moon are the direction of our destiny, and then also what we need to let go of, and in some cases, South Node, what we need to access, right? Because the South Node always also holds within it talents and abilities that we bring forth, ways of being that we're familiar with as we sort of move into the unfamiliar energy of that North Node. So we have, it's associated with the sign of Taurus. In May, the Sun, Venus, Mercury, and Uranus are in Taurus. Of course, Uranus is in Taurus for 7 years. We do have a new moon in the sign of Taurus on the 11th, and that's occurring at 22 degrees of Taurus. Very powerful new moon occurring. And I will talk about that next week. We'll look at that specifically on the week ahead. This is called in the Kabbalah the path of the triumphant intelligence, and it is the path of clairaudience. So this is the path in which we listen for that still small voice within. That is where we're going to get the information that we need to know in which direction this change is going to take us. So the monthly vibration and the yearly vibration is doubled up. So this year of change, right? After that 4-year, that 2020 year of crisis and feeling like we were in a box, now we get to break out of that box. And we can see what's happening, that things that we thought would never perhaps change are going through some drastic changes. I mean, we can certainly see that in the US in the direction of we'll say the Republican Party. It is truly blowing apart, right? And so we don't know where that's going to take them. That's the process that's going to go on there. But that's just an outward expression of this energy of change. So we have freedom, 5 plus freedom, 5 equals 10/1, which is the Wheel of Fortune card, right? So we're dealing with change. So freedom plus freedom equals change, or as I like to say it, change plus change equals more change. So in other words, hang on to your hat, folks, because this is going to be a month of change and revelation. And those things that didn't seem like they would ever change are going to go through that process of change. Now, next month in June, we have the second of the Uranus-Saturn exact last quarter crisis in consciousness rebellious squares, right? We had the first one in February. We're going to have the second one in June. And I believe the last one is in November. So it happens 3 times this year. So this is a process that began all the way back in, I think it was 1988, when those 2 planets were conjoined. So we're talking about a time even before, to put it in context, before AOC was a spark in her father's eye, as it were. So it was not that she's old, but it was a long time ago that this synodic cycle began. And so we're 3/4 of the way through that synodic cycle. And it is a cycle where we're breaking away from the old structures. Now, that initial conjunction where Saturn and Uranus came together, I believe, was it in Sag or was it in Capricorn? I think it was in Sag. So we're also dealing with beliefs. That we need to let go of. And of course, the South Node is in Sagittarius right now, the transiting South Node, requiring us to let go of beliefs that no longer serve us. Okay, so the Wheel of Fortune card is associated with the planet Jupiter. Of course, we have Jupiter right now in Aquarius, but it's going to be moving into Pisces next week on the 13th. It will be in Pisces until July. So I think it's in Pisces for about 2 months. It's going to move into Pisces. It's going to get to like 2.5 degrees of Pisces. It's going to turn retrograde, and then it's going to come back into Aquarius. So we get a little moment of time between the middle of May to the beginning of July, I think it is, where we're getting a taste of what Jupiter in Pisces is going to feel like. We have Jupiter in Pisces next year, 2022, for most of the year. And to put that into context, 2022 is the year that we have our Pluto return in the United States. And so we just had Pluto change direction, was that last week. It got as close to Pluto the natal Pluto of the United States as it's going to get this year. Now it's going to sort of back off, but we're still feeling it. We're still going through the transformational process. The next couple of years are going to be a real search for the soul of America, which is kind of very, very much the theme that we find ourselves in. And certainly the thing that Biden has been saying, which is very interesting, because it's as if he's reading the stars in that. It's as if he's reading the stars. So this is the path of the conciliating intelligence. This path, the 10-1 path on the tree of life, is a path that crosses the veil of Paraketh. And the veil of Paraketh is the veil that sits between our lower self and our higher self. There's a couple of there's an old Jesus nativity movie. I don't know the name of it. It's an old one though, because I remember it being old when I watched it, and this was many years ago, where at Christ's crucifixion, when he dies, they show this like veil in the tabernacle, and it gets rent oriented, like ripped in half. Is that rend or rent? Anyway, and that's the veil. The veil has been torn, and that's the veil between the higher and the lower self. And what Christ consciousness has done is it's shown us the way to ascend to our higher self. Christ consciousness is located in the tree of life, in Tiphereth, which is the heart, right? And so we'll take a look at this as we look at the tree of life here. So this is the path of the Hierophant right here. It's between Chokmah and Hesed. Chokmah is wisdom, Hesed is mercy, the mercy of wisdom. This is the 5 vibration. So the month vibration and the year vibration is here. So, the year vibration is a 5. 5 is going to be an important month for that, right? Because it's a double 5. And when you add that, we get the 10, and the 10 is located right here. This is the Wheel of Fortune. So this is Taurus and this is Jupiter. It is all located in the pillar of mercy. And I have another thing that'll show you that. But what I want to point out is the veil of Paraketh is right here. And you can't, I don't have the picture here. But it separates the higher self from the lower self. These 4 Sephiroth or Sephora are part of the lower self: solar plexus, sacral chakra, and root chakra. This is the heart chakra. When we incarnate, these chakras get created through the interface of a spirit coming into contact with the material plane. And we need those chakras to work on the material plane, to function on the material plane. The Wheel of Fortune is one of the paths that cross that divide. We have the Wheel of Fortune being one of those paths, death being one of those paths, the Devil card being one of those paths, and Temperance being one of those paths. So this is the 10-1 this year, the first time really that we're moving into the lower self here. So we have, will be 10 this month. Next month will be 11. We'll be back up into the higher realms. And then we have 12, and we're back into the lower self. So we're in the lower self this month. And what the 10-1 does is it balances things out. It balances things out because Netzach is the place of the personality. And so the personality, when it reaches a height of, I'm the king of the world, right? It's bound to just come back down because the personality isn't really in charge here. And so we will find people who were at the top of the hill falling down to the bottom. Now we can see that in the Republican Party as they try to sort of dethrone Liz Cheney. She is at the top of the thing. Will she fall down? It's very possible she could. Will she come back up? It's very possible she could, but that's probably not going to happen within the month of May. That's going to take some time. But there's this energy of people at the top sort of falling down. We see that with Rudy Giuliani as well. He was considered, his persona was considered the mayor of the New York, the city, the mayor of America, whatever they called him. And now he's having his fall. And what that does is the fall from grace, as it were, that the Wheel of Fortune can create is really a fall from the height of ego, and to realize that the ego is not in charge, but the soul is, right? And so we will see that. You may yourself have this experience, or if you're at the bottom, if things are low, there's only one way to go, right? Go up. So and that's cyclical nature. And the key to the 10-1 vibration is to observe the cyclical nature and not be unduly influenced by it. It's about stepping back and becoming an observer of life. Perhaps your life, right? An observer of your life. Okay. So these are the chakras that are activated this month. We have the third eye and throat via the 5 vibration. Here's the 5 vibration. And we see the throat chakra here. Vishuddha, I think it's called, which means purification. The throat chakra is the place where we connect with spirit. It's where we co-create with the will of God. So that is activated through the 5. The third eye is activated through the 5 vibration. So we have the third eye, we have the throat. And then if we add the 10 vibration in, we're looking at the third, the solar plexus. So we have wisdom coming down to mercy, coming down to victory, or Netzach, which is associated with Venus, the feminine, our values, our relationships, and this Netzach, the Sephiroth, is associated with the personality and also our feelings. So this is a time to pay attention to your feelings. Absolutely pay attention to your feelings. So if we look at, just 1 second here. Okay, sorry about that, guys. If we look at the paths activated, again, we're looking at the triumphant intelligence, which is right here, triumphant intelligence, which is the path of the Hierophant, and the conciliating intelligence, the path of the Wheel of Fortune. If we look at this via the pillars of the Tree of Life, because you can separate the Tree of Life into different ways. So we were looking at the chakras. So that's sort of like the horizontal organization of the Tree of Life. We can look at it that way. And this is the vertical way of looking at the Tree of Life. We have the pillar of this called mildness or harmony. And I sent you a code to your. Sorry about that. The pillar of mildness or harmony. This is also the pillar of transformation, and it's associated with the present moment. We have the pillar of severity, also called destruction here. This is the pillar of the future. And the feminine side of the tree. And then we have the pillar of mercy or creation, which is the masculine side of the tree. So everything that's getting activated is on the side of the masculine and also on the side of the past. So there's a lot of things from the past that are going to come in and be revealed. So there's going to be a lot of revelation this month. One of the things that's interesting about this month is that the North Node being in Gemini, Mercury moves into Gemini. So Mercury is in Gemini all month. At the end of the month, it goes retrograde. So whereas Mercury would be in Gemini or any sign really for like 2.5 weeks, we have Mercury in Gemini for about 6 weeks. And that's going to inform the North Node. And so we're going to get a dump of information when Mercury is retrograde, we're going to look back at that information and evaluate it. And then when Mercury goes direct, we'll have a better idea of what that information meant for us. That is true in your life. It's true in the life of a country, and it's true in the life, in the energy that the world is marinating in at this time. So there's a lot of information coming out. If you feel like you've been in the dark for a long time, the light is about to shine. And when that happens, there are going to be things that surprise you. There are going to be things that sort of knock you off the wheel. All right. There are going to be things that you're going to have to react and respond to. The vibration is about change and freedom. And so we can't fight the change. We have to flow with the change. There is a great flow. A river is running, and we need to push ourselves off from the sides and the banks and move into the flow. And that's going to mean different things for different people. We have to have the faith that Spirit is going to take us where we need to go. It is really a choice between faith and fear. And I always err on the side of faith. Sometimes it doesn't work out for me, but that's more of a personal story than a collective story, and what Spirit is trying to help us to move through and change. We are moving into a more fifth dimensional reality. And what does that mean? What is fifth dimensional reality? I mean, we're getting all these fives, right, today. Really what the fifth dimension is the fifth dimension is being able to look at everything that's going on in the lower dimensions, third, fourth dimension, and realize that it is not the only reality, and that there's a higher reality. That fifth dimensional reality is a reality that we can connect with if we connect with our heart. Third dimensional, fourth dimensional is all in the lower, it's the lower body. It's three-dimensional is our physical body, right? Width and height and depth. And then you add the fourth dimension, which is time. And that's the realm of Saturn, right? Time, Saturn rules time. And Saturn to the sun is the realm of the third and fourth dimension. When we get beyond that, which is Uranus, right? We go into the fifth dimensional. And what that opens us up to is it opens us up to our past lives, and our future possibilities. However, Uranus tends to come in flashes and downloads, and not always a clear picture right away. So, but there are things that sometimes that you suddenly know that you didn't know before, but you may have known before, but it's more of a remembrance than an actual. So it's more like a revelation. There's all this revelation going on. And with Uranus and Taurus, and this being the Taurus month, lots and lots of revelation for yourself personally and for us collectively. So hold on to your hats, folks, if you like to wear hats. Okay. We also have in this place, and let me go back here. Hesed is the place of the Akashic records. And so we have this path and this path activated, bringing it down to the level of the personality. So this is where most of this part of the tree is where most everybody's is aware of. This part of the tree, not everybody is aware of, because you have to ascend to a certain extent. You have to be aware. And one of the ways that we're becoming aware is through this path here, which is the Capricorn path, the devil path, right? The devil understands that there's something more than just physical reality. And with Pluto there and every other almost planet in the solar system there last year, we really got sort of an eyeful of what is real, what is needed, what is necessary, what is not necessary. A lot of people got off the hamster wheel. And then, of course, a lot of people were running the hamster wheel, and were working really hard on the hamster wheel and didn't have the ability to step back from things, because they had to feed their family. So it's different for different experiences for different, um, really classes of people and such. So that's what I want to say about May. Hopefully you understood that. Not that you wouldn't. That's not what I meant to say. Hopefully I was clear. That's what I want to say. It's not you, it's me. All right, guys. So have yourself a great May. Like and subscribe if you like this video. If you would like a reading with me, we can do your Kabbalah and your numerology and your astrology. It's called a Kabbalistic life reading. Most people who've had it have really enjoyed it. And it's a 90-minute reading, and it's very reasonable. I will be raising my prices at some point, but I'm still figuring all that out for myself. So, all right, guys, much love. Take care. Namaste.